it's fine, babe. It's fine. Leave it alone. And I remember one time, because my parents are the same. I can't, like, there's been so many times where I'm injured and I have to hide it from my parents. One time I twisted like my ankle bad and it was like crazy swollen. I didn't even like go through my front door. I went to my garage and I was like, okay. I called my friend. I'm like, you have to bring a bunch of ice. I can't get anything from my house. You have to bring a bunch of ice. You have to bring like
hide
hot
it from
water.
your parents.
Yeah, yeah. So like it was. I stayed up until like 2, 3 a.m. with them, and we're like trying to take care of my leg and everything. I could barely like walk upstairs, and then I had to go into work. And at this time, I had worked at my dad's shop, and I had to like pretend I'm walking normally and everything's fine, because like they care a lot about me and I respect that a lot. So whenever they see me injured, I don't want to deal with the headache of like getting yelled at and stuff. Armenian parents are very passionate, and I love that for them. But sometimes it's like, all right,
That's a good way to put it, right?
yeah, it is, because some people who don't understand it, like we'll see people talking on the street where it sounds like they're yelling at each other or cussing each other out, which I find hilarious. But then like it's like, what are they talking about? It's like, oh, they're just having a regular conversation. So it's funny. Or like whenever you go, someone's trying to pay for the bill and someone's saying no and it gets into like a huge commotion. Everybody at the restaurant turns around at you. You're like, oh, what the hell's happening? It's like, oh, they're just being
Have you
friendly.
seen that comedian? What's his name? Michael Passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has like those funny Armenian videos where somebody's trying to pay the check and then they start like pretty much fighting, right?
Yeah, literally, yeah. It's
Who's gonna
seriously
pay for
turns
it?
into a fight. It's like, okay, guys, relax. But no, it's very funny. But what I like about like just the entire Armenian community in general is, and I said it before, it's the fact that's like, it's really motivating how everybody cares about each other. And it was really cool coming and practicing over here and seeing the other Armenian families, and then helping their kids and all that stuff. And some of like there's like one Armenian dad that comes to the judo classes too, which I always find like, I'm gonna tie into that. Like, I'm 30 years old, but I get it, like being a black belt and training someone who's a lower belt, yeah, there's like that level of difference. But teaching someone that's like 40 years old or like 50 years old, and I'm younger than them, I always like find that weird. Like I do teach them and stuff, but it's always like weird. Like I'm the one who's supposed to be like looking up to you and stuff. It's a weird like dynamic.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah. And even
You have a knowledge. You have a knowledge. You're smarter than them, and that. And
yeah.
it's certain that in that part, right?
Yeah, and some of these guys are like doctors. Some of these guys are like lawyers and all that stuff. I'm like, holy shit! Like, you're supposed to be teaching me.
You're giving them value. You're changing their lives.
Yeah, exactly.
With what you know.
So like having the opportunity to do that, it has like, I don't know, like it makes me feel like good. Like it literally makes me feel like wholesome, honestly. And then there was like, I think there's another guy named Raffi, and he's he goes to Professor Joy's class. I think he's a doctor too.
Professor Joey's class?
Yeah. And then him being a doctor, me coaching him and like helping him out with stuff. I'm like, oh my God. Or sometimes I feel bad. Like if I put him in with submission, I'm like, I don't want to hurt this guy. This guy's saving lives. So I always find that like weird, but like funny weird. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah. It's like my teenagers, like I like the